grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to
Super, first class, marvellous. Pip pip, tally ho, and may I venture a hey nonny nonny. Joolz guides here, a shadowy flight into the dangerous London world of a man who wears a bowler hat. Today we're wandering around Battersea. Simon, what river runs between two seas?
I don't know.
The Thames. Because it runs between Chelsea and Battersea. And yeah, this is Battersea Power Station. It was built in the 1930s as an actual power station. The same guy who designed that telephone box and Tate Modern Art Gallery, which is the Bankside Power Station, he designed this. Most people would recognise Battersea Power Station from the Pink Floyd album cover, Animals, and they had this huge inflatable pig, and unfortunately it kept coming untied, and it went off flying into Heathrow airspace, and the police had to follow it. Eventually it came down on its own, down somewhere in Kent. I think it closed down sometime in the 80s, and it's just remained totally empty, and now they're turning it into luxury flats.
Are they actually saving the chimneys for smokers only? They filmed some scenes from Superman 3 in there. At the end, when Superman crushes a coal into a diamond, for Lana Lang, and then you got Richard Pryor, and together they fly off into the air, and all happened right there. Right there, 1982. It happened right there. Richard Lester film.
Excellent.
My boss, he provides transport fit for a king.
You know when that was first built? That was the biggest brick building in Europe. I don't know if it still is. Good place to talk about Albert Bridge. I think it was John Betjeman who described it as one of the beauties of the London River. Yeah, it really is most people's favourite bridge apart from Tower Bridge, and it's famous for being half cantilever, whatever that means, and half suspension bridge. I think the suspension part was added by Joseph Bazalgette because you see the signs on the end of the bridge where they first opened it start to sway. So that's why they've got these signs that all troops must break step. My chemistry teacher, Mr. Morell, was obsessed with it. He wouldn't stop going on about how troops must break step because when you march, you create a rhythm which causes the bridge to sway. Can you feel it wobbling yet? Yeah. Those buildings over there, by the way, that's Sir Norman Foster's office. You know, the architect.
Yes, I do.
He designed the Gherkin and the Reichsdome, and the Millennium Bridge as well, didn't he? Because that one wobbled as well. You'd think he'd have known. His office is overlooking what was actually known as the Trembling Lady. And I think it's just under this bridge on the right there where they filmed the end of Clockwork Orange. You know when the tramps get their revenge on Alex and they beat him up? Because he beats up a tramp at the beginning, doesn't he? Yeah, because that was in Chelsea, wasn't it, when they go and they break into the house? It keeps deteriorating, this bridge, because underneath this tarmac, I think they've got timber, the original timber, and because of all the dogs peeing on the bridge, it's all the urine is causing the timbers to rot. But yeah, these two things are like original toll booths. This is the only bridge which has got toll booths on it still. Royal London Borough of Kensington and Chelsea. All troops must break step when marching over this bridge. You must break step when marching over this bridge. I don't think they cared, but then they're not troops, so it's all right. This is the first place that an association rules football match was ever played. Just over here on that pavilion over there, they've got a plaque that says, you know, the FA Cup, as in the Football Association, those rules were first used here. That's why Americans call it soccer, as in soccer, association rules football. In 1858, this was all marshland, and it's the first place in England where they grew asparagus, which originally it was called sparrow grass. Spare grass. Must have been a Cockney thing. A bit of asparagus. Oh, you know what this is? This is like, a monk lives inside here. Right, so over there, there's a peace pagoda, which was donated by Buddhist monks in 1985 to commemorate the people who died in Hiroshima. And this used to be some sort of shed or something, a work shed. But now it's where the monk lives. There's this one monk who lives in here. And he looks after the pagoda. Ever since 1985, he's been here, just keeping it clean and stuff. Sometimes volunteers help as well. It always reminds me of the end of Monkey. You know, Monkey, sono yukeba, donna yume mo. Gandhara, Gandhara, they say it was in India. So over there, you know, is that Chelsea Bridge? It used to be a wooden bridge, and there was this pub quite close to there, the Red House Tavern, I think it was called, which was famous for ne'er-do-wells, beggars, pickpockets and ruffians, sort of place you'd hang out, Simon. Yeah. Then, because of that, I think Battersea Park gained a reputation for duelling, and famously, the Duke of Wellington fought a duel here against the Earl of Winchelsea. Maybe that's why that area is called Chelsea over there. So it was all a bit of a damp squib, really. They both chickened out and just like fired their pistols and said, yeah, point made. Let's get out of here. But he was the last English Prime Minister to have fought a duel. The Duke of Wellington, the Duke of Wellington boot. Anyone who soils a Wellington puts his foot in it. Oh, look, rolling around in the poo.
I used to walk in the shade with the blues of the rain. I'm not afraid. This rover crossed over. If I ever had a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller.
God, it's so treacherous around here. They're doing so much work and development, but just behind Battersea Power Station is Battersea Dogs home. It actually opened in the 1860s, but as a sanctuary for abandoned animals. In 1883 they started accepting cats as well, but it wasn't until 2002 or something they started calling it Battersea Dogs and Cats Home. Up until then it was only Battersea Dogs Home. I think it was so they wouldn't feel discriminated against. The cats were getting offended, you see, and they do all sorts of pet etiquette schools for dogs which are not particularly well brought up. You can actually go and have a look inside. I mean, you know, if you want a dog, it's a nice charitable thing to do, to choose a dog from here. Hello. Hello. Yeah, they've got over 260 dogs and cats in there. I noticed quite a few staffies in there. It's quite sad, actually. They started a thing in 2011 called the They're Softer Than You Think campaign. Try and alert people to the fact that Staffordshire Bull Terriers aren't actually as bad as everybody thinks. They get quite a bad name, don't they, Simon?
They do indeed, yeah.
You, I believe, have a connection with Staffordshire Bull Terriers?
Yes, I make Staffordshire Bull Terrier jewellery. Very highly detailed, lovely little sterling silver or gold pendants of Staffordshire Bull Terriers, and you can find those at my site at alexanderedward.com.
Available now on Simon's website, even though he called himself Alexander Edward. See the links below.
Beautiful bit of a graffiti. What could compel someone to risk their life to spray lager on the side of this bridge? Look at that.
Underneath the arches, we dream our dreams away. Underneath the arches, on cobblestones we lay.
I think they make the peculiar claim of being the longest garden centre in London or something like that. Hello!
Hello.
What's your name?
So my name's Amaya, I'm a florist at the Battersea Flower Station.
Yeah?
And we're just on Battersea Park Road and we're open 7 days a week. And it's a lovely scenic route with lots of different seasonal flowers and plants. So please come along and visit us.
Bit of lavender, Simon? Always felt that you had a bit of a whiff of lavender about you. Splendid.
Happy when the daylight comes creeping, heralding the dawn, screaming when it's raining, and sleeping when it's fun.
This is Battersea Square. It's really lovely around here. I'm feeling a bit peckish, aren't you, Simon? I was going to get a sandwich, sarnie from the bakery. Man, that was the messiest sandwich. Flour everywhere, I'm covered in pesto. This is where Prince George goes to school, the son of Prince William and Kate. Imagine if he just showed up now, Prince William, just to collect his kid from school. That was so cool.
Arches, we dream our dreams away.
Well, thanks for watching. Sorry about the people who keep thinking that I'm some sort of alcoholic because I'm always drinking beer at the end of all my videos. So whenever I do a private walk, they always ask me for a pub crawl. I say, let's go on a beery pub crawl. It's becoming a bit much. Yeah, I'm perfectly happy to do that. So if you do enjoy the videos, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps. Don't forget to do it. It's very easy to do. Just hit the red button. And if you were interested in private walk, just get in touch on my website, joolzguides.com, where you can find out more about me and even donate via PayPal or Patreon if you want my illustrious cameraman to have a crust of bread and stagnant water for his dinner, as usual. Cheers.